Now, who introduces? That is the question.
I don't know.
I suppose we just sit here in silence then.
Okay, cool. We're being really boring right now.
Yeah, no.
There's no way that's gonna work out as an intro. Everyone's gonna be like, bye.
I was expecting that intro to be like, you say a word, then I say a word, then you say a word, then I say a word.
Well, maybe if you expected that, maybe you should have specified that.
Well, that's the thing about improvisational performance. You just kind of go with the flow of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we
like
go.
This.
Yeah. This is exactly. Yeah. This is all improv performing is just you doing this motion over and over and over again.
Right.
Welcome everyone to episode 22, Aftershow. Time to go to the Aftershow. NPR, WM3. Yeah, we got ourselves some role playing today, Nola. A whole lot of RP and some interaction and some downtime. The impression that I got was the slowdown it's already feeling like it's starting to be like, okay, like this was enough kind of a thing. Like this slowdown of pace. It's like, okay, now we're getting to the point where probably we should start moving along again, but like we're starting to mellow out again. Yeah,
and I agree. Like, I probably wouldn't want like an entire session next time to be something like this, but like this session definitely needed to happen because the past like 5 sessions have just been like go, at like 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And so we definitely needed a session to just like have the character just relax and breathe and talk about some of the stuff that's happened. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and do some light reading.
Yeah, and do some if you light reading or cramming for an exam the night before it's due.
Yeah,
that's
10 hours of studying a night. That's stressful. Like, Serena was not relaxed that whole time. She was studying her brains out all throughout these days. Like, these next 2 days are going to be her relaxing days because she is
the next 2-3 days is going to be the best.
Yeah, because she has been studying hard for 10 hours a day and only really getting like a few minutes here and there. Like, she still hasn't gotten a chance to relax, basically. She's just been reading. Von Richten's like, here, let me show you how to make a potion. And she's like, all right, and you learned, well, don't have time to do that. And then you just sit down and read.
And then I just study. Yeah, but I really wanted that +2 to the wisdom.
And now you got it.
How
does it feel, Nola, to have a +2 to your wisdom?
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
+1 to your perception and some other stuff, but most importantly, perception.
But most importantly, perception. That is definitely the most important one.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it does seem excessive to be reading a book for like 4 days in a row, I didn't really have any major plans for downtime, except for obviously, Ismark, because we already planted that seed in the one before, but I didn't know how to go about that. I was like, okay, how are we gonna develop the relationship now? Because I don't know what's going on. Except Pascal, I definitely wanted them to go on a little date.
Oh, Pascal! I basically had one thing that really needed to happen this session, and it was just because Pascal had been cheering it for like the other 3 sessions beforehand.
Oh, the spear?
Yeah, the spear. I was like, okay, this is what is going to happen. There was a lot of exposition this session. There was a lot of getting to know people and just chatting away. And there was also relationship building. Like with talking to Irina in the second session and the second day. Yeah, and then talking to Esmeralda on the last and Zuleika on whatever the other day that was.
That was the third day.
All the days are mingling up.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, but all throughout this interaction, you were making narrative choices, which I thought was fun. It was really cool to present these situations to you where clearly, like, the classic Walking Dead, this person will remember this, like, text would appear. Like, I really enjoyed making those scenarios, but yeah, so Irina opening up to you and you just getting a chance to talk with her a little bit and then just ending on that, oh, by the way, I kissed your brother.
Yeah, right. Because that entire conversation, I knew I wanted to talk to Irina about Ismark, and the conversation just kind of delved more into like, you know, what happened to her, and I did want to talk to her about that too. So we explored that a little bit, but then I felt the conversation ending.
Yeah.
So I had to be like, well, I want to throw this in somehow.
And
what time is it at this point?
As of now, the sun is in the sky, and the reds and yellows now give way to the grays of the sunlight passing through the Barovian fog.
Well, I'll leave you be. Leave you to your thoughts.
Indeed. As she looks behind her and sees Zuleika already getting up.
Also, I may have kissed Ismark.
And her eyes go
she leaves.
wide.
By the way, I kissed your brother. Bye.
Yeah, I thought that was so freaking brilliant. Just because, like, it was so natural and in the moment, and just like it was just such a good cherry on top of like the serious moment, sincerity, friendship. Oh, by the way, kissed your brother, and then turn your head, bye, and you walk away, and it was so great, and that just led the moment, that ambiguity, because if she had interrogated you, probably my favorite part of the session, which was her interrogating Ismark, which was the next day, might not have happened. Like
no. You know what? It was the same day because it was later that day.
Right, because it was the same morning. Right, the sun was rising. The sun was rising. I remember now. Yeah. And yeah, my favorite part was just getting to see Serena be giddy while like listening in to Irina just lay into Ismark. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Did you initiate or did she? And you swear you can hear Ismark blushing. It's like one of those things where it's a giddy feeling. It's like
you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just kind of like rolling a little bit, just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they're talking about this.
Yeah, and honestly, like Ismark needs a good talking to, because honestly, I've been feeling Ismark has just been like this little shrimp for a while. You know, he's just like this tiny little kitten. I just like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I just say, you know, I'm just like, dude.
Yep.
Dude.
Yeah.
You gotta do something, man. Otherwise, she's gonna lose interest. Okay. Like,
yeah. And I thought that was played into every reaction that you had, like you not taking the initiative and just like forcing him to step forward. And I thought that was so brilliantly played, especially like when he didn't approach you that first day. You're like, what the fuck, Ismark? Like we literally just talked about this.
Yeah, it's like, come on, he's out there swinging spears. I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine.
Yeah,
I see who is more important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, okay, so like looking through the days, the first day, spoke with Van Richten about the potion stuff. So that's, you know, I don't think I have any real comments about that. Did she learn how to brew a new potion or something? Yes,
she did. She got the ingredients, and I didn't mention this. I probably should have, but you learned how to concoct the materials for a potion that essentially would give you the benefit of a protection from good and evil spell.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like a generic potion. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So every day that they're doing something is a chance to interact and get something, you know? And then, of course, a few events thrown in here and there to spice things up.
Right,
but of course, the session was mostly just you reading a book, so that's exactly what ended up happening. It's like, there's all these things and stuff that you decided to do, and I figured that that's what would happen, and that's where, like, during the prep, I was like, okay, I gotta throw in some events here somewhere, otherwise she's just
hoping.
She's just gonna be reading the whole time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be, and of course, you know, watching other people read is extremely exciting to watch as a viewer. Yeah, I was hoping you would throw in a few things. If you didn't throw in a few things, I would probably try to initiate something with like Irina and Ismark. Kind of like what I did, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, yeah, so you had the encounter with the tiger after, like, the entire session was mostly about just the development of Ismark. Like, that's where the majority of the RP time went. But also the flip side was exposition. That was answered a lot of questions that you had, which I always feel kind of iffy about because I just feel like I'm spouting crap at you and I'm like, this isn't very interactive. But at the same time, answers questions. So what are you gonna do? And then the next day, you had the interaction with Zuleika, which kind of had a very divisive civil war kind of a moment where you have the hunters versus a creature of the night. And I didn't know what you were gonna do.
I didn't know what I was gonna do either. Yeah. Honestly, I felt a little bit back and forth. Honestly, in my brain, the most optimal thing to do would be to put her in a cage. Mm-hmm. But doing that might really harm their relationship. And that's why I try to put questions at her. I'm like, how often does this happen? Like, what do you remember? Those kinds of things, to be like, are you going to become a danger to us? Or, or can we still trust you? That type of thing. Yeah. And unfortunately, like, I did decide to allow Zuleika to, be free. I had to be sure to be like, look, I'm doing you a favor allowing you to do this, okay? Yeah. Like,
remember that. And she appreciated it. And you probably, you had like I think the only touching moment with Zuleika yet was just her being appreciative in her own way.
Mm-hmm. She called me her friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said I was a member of her pack. I was like, oh my goodness. Wow, yeah. I feel so honored. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she would never attack a member of her pack. We'll see what happens with all that, because she definitely wreaked some havoc, and you may or may not see what that havoc was in the near future.
Yep.
And then day 4, that was Spear Day. That was date day.
That was I guess fishing day.
Yeah.
They had a little fishing date.
And of course we had talked about Ismark becoming your sidekick like a few sessions ago. Like this has been decided for a while.
Right. Yeah. So if you guys don't know, I think it's Tasha's Tasha's Cauldron.
Yep.
So in that book, there are rules that can allow you to basically upgrade an NPC to have them become a sidekick, which makes them like a buff NPC, basically. I mean, it came out at the perfect time because Ismark needed that. And so I picked him to be Serena's sidekick. Yep.
And that's exactly what he's going to be. And he has got some goodies and he's jacked.
Yeah, I was the way that you described Ismark when you said like, he's definitely like gained some like mass. He's definitely bigger now. I was like, I can do better than that. Here, that's 2. Okay.
As you lay your hands on him, you feel a tenseness in his muscles.
Like, energy. Whoa, his arms are like super strong now?
Yeah, like
dang.
He got shredded in the past couple of seconds.
What? He's just rippling muscles now? Wow. Oh, did he have like a full Hulk transformation where before he was like a regular dude and now he's just like,
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's what I imagined.
Yeah. Of course. So, yeah. So naturally, I didn't want to take that situation like too seriously because I mean, we both like, we knew what it was meant to represent. And like, I wanted it to make narrative sense. But I also wanted to like lean into the fact it's like, okay, like, yeah, all of a sudden he is a lot stronger because we have decided mechanically this is what needs to happen. So
I'm just imagining that scene from like Captain America where like he has in the beginning he's like super shrimpy and then he goes into the capsule thing and then he just like is jacked like afterwards. That's what I'm imagining for his work now.
Yeah, that's basically it, except for more blood and magic, and that's exactly it. I had fun with that description, and I'm glad that people in chat and you got a kick out of it because that was just I wanted it to make sense, but it was
Yeah.
also just a sprinkle of ridiculous, just because like we talked about beforehand, it was like, how are we going to explain him all of a sudden becoming more powerful? It's like, well, I have an idea, but it's still what it was, you know?
Yeah.
Now?
It was
here we are.
funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure Serena will be just fine with him being stronger.
Yep,
She'll
yep.
be perfectly happy with that.
Yeah.
She's not complaining.
Yeah. It'll be tough having more muscle on Ismark.
Oh my
but-
gosh. Oh
but I-
my. Oh no.
But I think she'll learn to deal with it.
I think she'll be okay.
And then,
I finished my book.
yep.
Finally. The dumb book I've been trying to finish for like 10 sessions.
Yeah, and now it is done, and you don't need to worry about it anymore.
I know.
Same thing
I
with
can't-
contacting Casimir. It's done,
Yes!
and you don't need to worry about it anymore.
Yes, we finally got in contact with Casimir. And he's
not-
coming. He's already been, down the mountain. But
Yeah, he didn't stick around for days, hoping that you would come back.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Like honestly, after like 2 days, it's like okay, they're probably something happened or they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, we tried to get in contact with him. Okay, we tried.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
we didn't
no,
just
no.
forget about him.
No,
okay?
I know that. But as far as he's concerned, you just disappeared for like a few, like a
Days.
Yeah, it's
A few days. It's like a week, basically.
yeah. It's been like a week.
Because from when we got to the Amber Temple, then we went to Strahd's castle,
Yep.
and then
And-
went to and then we went to Kretsk. That all happened within like 2 days.
Yep.
And
Man,
then from
so
Kretsk-
much has happened.
And then we went from Kretsk, and then we had to like the day after we had to go rescue Irina and Esmeralda. The day after that, we did the whole wolf thing, and then several days later, we made it to the tower. It's been about a week.
Yep.
Man, it's literally been months on our
Yeah.
end, but in
Yeah.
game, it's literally been 1 week.
Yep. It's wild. Here we are, now having Casimir informed, having Serena be done with her book, having Ismark officially be the sidekick. We're getting all the things done before we move on to
Right.
the climax of this campaign. Getting all the
Yeah.
ducks lined up in a row.
There is one thing that I did want to talk about with Ismark in the session, which is what the heck are they gonna do with their relationship? Like,
They'll go fishing.
yeah, they'll just go fishing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's the like, what do you plan to do after all this is over? She asked Irina
Mhm.
this question, but I wanted to ask Ismark this question too. Like, what do you plan to do after we defeat Strahd? Because he's, Strahd might come back, and then how is this relationship gonna work? And Serena wants to go home, and those logistical questions. But I don't know. They've been busy fishing instead, so
It's the classic conundrum of like every RPG ever. The world is ending, but you gotta get the ultimate fish
But you gotta finish the fishing quest.
Yep. Literally, that's what happened. And meanwhile, the world is ending around them. Oh, RPGs. Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I think.
I already pitched my idea.
Yeah, no, we've talked about this so many times. I mean, the answer's the same, except for now you know that Irina is very unsure. And yeah, I suppose my answer, the only answer that I can give to you, is it depends how the campaign ends.
Yeah, it depends on who lives and who dies. Yeah.
It's just something that's going to be eating the back of Serena's mind as we go.
Yeah.
The further this relationship develops, the more attached she gets, the more she will begin to fear letting go.
And I mean, that's what she was afraid of all along.
Mm-hmm.
This entire time, which is why, the relationship didn't start sooner, is because, even though she has these feelings, it's like, well, she's just gonna leave anyway, so what's the point,
Yeah.
And it's not like she can just take Ismark with her. Unless Ismark is okay with leaving, but she hasn't asked him that question yet.
That'll be a tough question to ask when the time comes.
Yeah.
Do you think... I wonder if that's going to come up before the final conflict. If that's going to be known, or if that's going to be a, okay, now this is done, now what kind of a thing?
I don't know. I mean, like, personally, I think trying to talk about that, like, while they're at the tower, I think it would be a good idea to, like, breach the subject, even if he doesn't have an answer yet, to at least have him start thinking about it, you know?
Yeah. He's figuring out what he wants to. And
yeah,
you're discovering it together.
mm-hmm.
You're discovering yourselves together.
Although, honestly, for Ismark, I mean, he'll have to overclock his brain a little bit because of how stupid he is. Sometimes it's charming, but sometimes it's like you're an actual idiot. It's like, I'm over here like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, bouncing back and forth.
Like, your IQ of 10, like, oh my gosh.
Hey,
Anyway.
he's doing his best.
I know, he's doing his best.
And maybe one day you'll find a book that
maybe he needs a book of intelligence. I think that's what he needs.
That'll be Serena's next big quest, is she's just off to find a book of intelligence.
Yeah.
in
You know what? Maybe
the world.
he should have read the wisdom book, okay? Because I know in D&D treats wisdom as like a senses type of thing, and like awareness and, like, you know, vision and stuff like that. But I understand wisdom to be the ability to make good judgment.
Yeah.
You know, like a judge.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, the ability to make good decisions, because there's a huge difference between being intelligent and being able to make actual good decisions. There are plenty of college kids that are intellectually very smart but make terrible decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're usually the ones partying until like 6 a.m. and then they like skip class, like those kids, you know, like intellectually they could be a 20, but their wisdom, if it's like an 8.
Yeah, the ones that complain about how much they're struggling and how they do horrible on the tests when they always stay out the night before partying.
Yeah, like, so I mean, that in my brain denotes wisdom.
Yeah, makes sense.
Know? But D&D, they kind of more treat it as like, do you see things?
Yeah. It's and that's definitely like the big part of it, because I've talked about this perception is so strong. But insight is part of wisdom, which is kind of like sizing up the person in front of you, which I would equate to emotional intelligence, which kind of goes into that theme a little bit, being able to empathize and understand where the other person is coming from.
Right.
That comes with wisdom a little bit. But overall, I do agree with you that you're wise, therefore you have better vision is kind of weird. Yeah.
I think that's a little odd. Yeah.
But hey, now Serena's got better vision.
Well, now Serena can see things better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and next session, whenever that may be, we got 2 more days of downtime, which will be basically Serena's real downtime days, because she'll have the whole day to do things that she actually wants instead of just reading. So
I don't even know what they're gonna be, because I'd have to look up downtime ideas.
Downtown ideas.
Yeah, going downtown, going out, into the city. No.
She puts on her shiny dress.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I don't even know what I would even do for downtime.
Well, you got some choices. Esmeralda's making bombs. Von Richten's making potions. Ismark's training. And Irina is hanging out, and Zuleika is hunting things. Are there any closing thoughts that you have on the session, or any hopes that you have for the future?
Yeah, I already said that. Like, the conversation I eventually want is like them talking about, like, well, what are they gonna do after they kill Strahd? How's that gonna work? And then, honestly, there's one more thing. I do kind of want, to speak with Strahd again before, like, the big battle.
You will get to speak with Strahd again, I promise you.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I'm imagining he shows up and he's just like, let's go. You all versus me. I'll slap you all.
That's
and then
exactly.
I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna like marry Irina.
That's exactly how we'll
maybe
phrase it,
Serena
too.
too. I'll take her too.
Yeah, that's exactly how we'll phrase it too. That wording was flawless. Perfect.
And then everyone else dead.
Yep. And that's exactly how it'll happen. He'll just be like, ha-ha! And then attack all of you. No interaction. Just fight.
Yeah.
I am very confident you are going to get a chance to interact with Strahd again very soon.
Like how soon?
Very, very soon. And that'll be where we end the after show. If you liked what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to Arena. Goodbye, everyone.